Good evening everyone and welcome to the GT3's at the Hungaroring. We have just entered into the qualifying session. We've got 15 minutes of private qualifying for our drivers to be running around tonight, and I am so glad it's the GT3's that I am going to be able to commentate for you guys tonight, because some of these cars are absolutely beautiful. We are currently watching the BMW run around, and I love the liveries as well. They're all so perfect. I would have to say one of my favourite cars out of all of the GT3s running tonight have got to be the McLarens or the Audis, most likely. Actually, I don't think Audis are running tonight, looking at it. I wonder, I think there may be one. I think Tony Vassetti is in our only Audi. I'm going to go have a little look at the sign-up list for tonight, and it looks like we've got three confirmed Audis running tonight, so that's going to be nice. The Audi R8. But we've also got the Roofs, of course, the BMW Z4s, Mercedes AMGs, the McLaren 650Ss, the continue looking through, I think that's it. And the Corvettes, of course, as well. We have got the Corvette running around the track as well. So in front of us now, we are currently sitting in our 15-minute private qualifying session, but we have a 1-hour race in front of us. 60 minutes for these cars to put in consistent lap times and take the checkered flag. There's a mandatory stop that these drivers have to take as well. Now, in the past, we have seen races with mandatory stops. It's come quite a big effect, and a number of people have lost 20-30 seconds in a pit stop stage. So we might see battles start to really lose out. However, Hungaroring, it's a really difficult track to overtake. I was just talking about this, in fact, that this track actually, it's really difficult to overtake. Your main overtaking locations, probably actually down in turn number 1. That's going to be your biggest overtaking location. Heavy under brakes into the hairpin. You're going to see a number of people going for a move there. Definitely into turn number 1. It's going to be really chaotic. We've got 33 cars on track tonight, which is absolutely fantastic. I think it's one of the biggest grids I've ever seen in one of our club events, which is fantastic. The only one that I think has currently beaten this is a couple of weeks ago in the Clio Cups, where we had 38 drivers. Other than that, this is the biggest grid, and it's absolutely amazing. Some huge names racing with us tonight from previous races. Thomas Patsy, we got him racing. Peter Backus, Reggie Blaine. We've also got, looking through, other drivers that we normally see up front, or at least definitely a standout crowd. We've got Mark Keeble, Steve Legale. New to the Raceroom side of things, Jim Nobbs. He's obviously my co-commentator for a number of events. He also streams a number of events as well by himself. He's down on the field at the moment, currently in 12th position. I'm going to get you all of the standings up now, so you can look on the left-hand side, the gap between everyone. We're currently watching Thomas Patsy, who is on pole position with a 140. He goes faster, sorry, a 144.930. Absolutely fantastic. Another name to look out for, Alex Schmertz as well, looking through the order. Ross Garland, we've noticed in the past. Martin Faela, he was really nice to the prototypes at Silverstone last week. He allowed them through, and unfortunately, he did spin one, letting one of them through. He came back through, though. Really professional driving by him. Reggie Blaine Sr., another name that we see often. Jazz Forsberg near the rear as well. Tobias Rona, a name to definitely be looking out for. He's currently in 29th in the session without a lap time to his name. At the rear, we've also got John Silter and Loy McLaurin, two names you might know as well. Malachi Backus, he is the fastest GT driver I think I've ever known, or at least one of the fastest. Malachi, when we were running the GT2s versus the GT3s, he was battling with the leaders of the GT2 category. In fact, he was leading all of the GT cars at one point. I thought he was in a GT2 vehicle, but no, Malachi Backus knows how to get that Bentley to the front, and we are definitely going to be seeing that tonight. He's just put in that car into 6th position on the grid at the moment, a 146.4. That is, however, a surprising 1.5 seconds off of Thomas Patsy, who's currently running this Corvette. We're going to go and have a look at someone else down the order, because the auto director does not want to change. This is Steve Kenwood at the moment. We're going to get the timings up at the bottom there. Through the first sector, he's running slower than his previous one, but look at that McLaren, that Black Falcon liveried McLaren, the number 19. He heads into the chicane. Now that is going to be tricky, because you can definitely go side by side heading up to the chicane, but it's then who's going to back out. and I've seen a number of times in previous club events, neither one backs out, and one is having to cut that chicane because there's nowhere for them to go. It's certainly not a corner to go too wide in, but we're going to see a number of people attempt to do that. Looking through the order though, or looking at some of the names, it's not really changed much. However, some new names up front I don't think I've seen before while streaming these events. Simon Billingham, currently in 9th position. He is, as we just get to 36 drivers in this event. 36 GT3 drivers currently in the server. This is going to be an absolute stormer of a race as Reggie Blaine puts his car into 3rd position ahead of Steve Kenwood. Looking through the order, Peter Backus, no sorry, it was Peter Backus who's just put it into 2nd. Wow, this is great. Malachi Backus actually knocked down to P number 10. So Greg Metcalf, also another new name in tonight's race. Well, for me again, at least, it's really nice to see some of these new names coming up near the top. Another new name I noticed tonight, Lolo Stacco in 23rd position with a 148.5 at the moment. That's about 4 seconds off of Thomas Patsy, our current pole sitter. We're going to get Auto Director back on again. This is Thomas Patsy. He's actually currently running the fastest lap time. Once again, he's about a 10th, well, almost 2 tenths up in the first sector, and again in the second sector. He's going to come through the final corner now. He's got about 8 minutes to go in the qualifying session. So about halfway there, he's going to cross a line. Is it going to be a new fastest lap? It is. It's going to be only just quicker, but a 144.227 for Thomas Patsy. We're now looking at one of these new drivers. This is driving the Audis. Actually, it's one of my favourite GT cars to drive. I used to drive it when I was on Game Stock Car. I drove this all the time. I think I drove it for about a year before moving on finally to a different GT car. But Lolo Stacco, our Frenchman, sitting currently in 23rd position. It's going to be an improvement on his lap time. Put him into 16th. Absolutely fantastic, behind the fellow Frenchman of Jazz Forsberg as well, and in front of Francesco Rocca, the Italian man. Looking through again on the order, there was definitely a change up front, and Jim Nobbs has actually just gone past Alex Schmerz. We're going to go have a little look at Jim, actually. This is first time Jim's taken part in one of our race room events. He hasn't had race room for very long, and I think he's enjoying it because he's put his car in P number 12 at the moment, which is actually fantastic. Bearing in mind, actually, it is only about 2.3 seconds off of Thomas Patsy, which is not at all bad. I think the times that I was running around GTs at this circuit must put me down in about 30th position at the moment, in about 1:50s. So it's really nice to see, actually, Jim Nobbs up front. I'm going to be looking quite a lot at him tonight because not only is he one of our many first-timers in tonight's event, but also you guys know him quite a lot as well, mainly for the commentaries on the Formula 3 events, but he also gets behind the wheel in a number of streams almost weekly as well. Now, I'm going to listen to Jim as we ride on board as I have a little bit of a drink. He was running as fastest in sector number 1, but unfortunately for Jim, sector number 2, not as fast. He's going to head up to the hairpin. He's a little bit of a wobble under braking there, and actually through the corner he really swiveled it out and sort of kicked the rear end. But he's doing really well in that Corvette. A really nice car to drive in a GT, because those Corvettes are just, they are really nice. They're quite a beast to handle though, so Nobbs is doing quite well to be sitting in what is now P13, because a name has just gone through. A number have gone through. Tony Versity, Paul Harlow, Dave Sloot, all going faster, unfortunately, for Nobbs, but he's going to continue running. He's going to keep on pushing. And it obviously means that most people only run actually with enough fuel to do 1 time lap, or maybe 2. Jim Nobbs, this is maybe his 3rd or 4th lap now running. So he may have a lot heavier fuel, which means that by the time he comes to the end, the tyres are going to be slightly worse, but they're going to be rubbered in. The track's going to be a little bit more rubbered in, and he's going to have almost no fuel, hopefully, in his tank. That means he can go a little bit faster. Again, in sector 1, look at that. His time increase, running perfectly on the apex there, out of sector number 1. Can we get a track map up here? Yes, the track map actually works here tonight, so we're going to get rid of that quickly and go away. There we go. So this is your the track that we're running tonight. It's absolutely fantastic, this Hungaroring, and you can see where all the different people are on circuit where they're running at the moment. But this, like I said, is an absolute fantastic circuit. It's really difficult to overtake. I mean, really difficult to make a moving pass. But if you're looking at it, probably turn number 1 is going to be a great overtaking opportunity. Heavy braking. But then, into turn number 3, which is that long left-hander, you can get side by side with someone. If you're able to hold it, mainly on the outside line, through turn number 4, that swooping right-hander, you're going to get that inside, maybe squeeze them out. But I've been able to actually hold it on the outside line of turn number 4 before, so it's going to be interesting to see what the different drivers do. Heading into turn number 5, though, that sharp left-hander, you're going to have really difficult overtaking place. But if you're side by side, you're going to want to brake later. But we can see a number of drivers going off there, maybe turning in a little bit too soon and turning into the guy on their inside. It's going to be a little bit crazy, but it's going to be interesting. Then through turn number 6, a long right-hander heading up to the chicane. You're going to want to get side by side, but you want to confirm the position on the exit, because if you're heading up to that chicane side by side, it's a no-go. You're not going to be able to make the move. Through 7 and 8, where that number 6... where 6th position, is currently going through, you've got that chicane, and you're gonna want to stay single file. You're not gonna want to go overtake. Then through the next swooping sections, it's very hard to make a way through. Unless a guy in front of you makes a mistake, you're not gonna be able to way through. Where that number 6 car, 6th position is now, through that right-hander, you're gonna get a perfect run up to the final major overtaking location. You're going to have heavy braking into the 3rd to last corner. You're going to want to swing it to the inside. But if you're able to hold it side by side through this long left-hander with the hairpin, you've then got the final 2 corners to try and confirm your move before getting onto the straight. But then they can just come straight back at you into turn number 1. It's going to be interesting to see what the drivers are going to be able to do today. And I think it's going to be really close racing. Definitely, actually, as one of my standout drivers in the GT3 cars of Malachi Backus is only in P number 9. Now, I know that this track isn't the favourite for everyone, so they might not enjoy it as much and therefore might not drive it as much and therefore aren't as good at it. So we are going to go and have a look, actually, at Malachi Backus, who is currently out. We're going to go run inside that Bentley as he's heading up to this chicane. We've got less than 2 minutes to go. We're going to get up the driver info and see what the time is. Through that first sector, he's 4/10 off of Pazzi, but it's not his quickest. That's why it's waiting. A big mistake through that middle sector means that he's going to go off the circuit, unfortunately for him. We're going to go have a little look at Paul Hurlow now, running in the roof, the number 83. And I must say, these roofs, whenever they're running around, they look like the most professional cars ever. No matter if you make a mistake like Paul Hurlow just did, but it just looks absolutely fantastic. Looking at Mario Burunkovic now as he heads on to a time lap. Look how heavy that front end damage is. Now, I don't think Burunkovic is going to be able to finish his lap because it takes about 1 minute and 45 seconds on average to get in a lap time, and he's got only 1 minute to get around the track, and I think you only get about 10-20 seconds before the server automatically ticks over to the race. So what we're going to do now here then is get up our results, otherwise we'll never get them. Tamas Patsy is on pole position, and that is 3/10 in front of Peter Backus. We then have Reggie Blaine in 3rd, and Stephen Kenwood sits in 4th. Tony Versity will qualify in 5th position with Greg Metcalf, Mark Keeble, Magnus Sternbury, Simon Phillum, and Jim Nobbs rounding out the top 10. Malachi Backus actually behind Jim Nobbs is a surprise. Then you've got Paul Hurlow, Tobias Rona, Dave Stoop, Jazz Forsberg, Alex Schmertz, Nate Idions, Lolo Stacco, Pietro Blasiak, Francesco Rocca going into up to your 20th position. And this is amazing. I've never said this many names in a broadcast before. Laurie McLaurin in 21st, followed by Ross Garland, Steve Legale, Mario Burunkovic, Martin Fiala, Nicholas Gregory, Michael Watt, John Suter, Jose Paul Miranda, Colin Herx round out your top 30. And then at the very rear of the field, you've got Reggie Blaine Sr., Paul Schaefer, Jim Brailsford, and Kamil Grzyzinski, 34th position. Oh my word, that was a flurry of names. 34 people taking part in tonight's event. It is going to be absolutely crazy. Turn number 1, this is going to be horrific. I really do think so. This is going to be absolutely crazy as it says Thomas Patsy is our only driver again. I love it when it does that. So we're going to get our session countdown as people are going to be getting onto the grid. I'm going to have a quick drink before we get going for this 60-minute race with one mandatory pit stop. Now, it's going to be interesting pit strategies here, because the fuel in the GTs, you can easily go the full hour. Same with the tyres. So are people going to go longer, have less fuel at the end, fresh tyres, or are they going to go to the halfway point? The mandatory stop obviously is going to be have a pit window. I think they have a half an hour pit window, 15 minutes into 15 minutes remaining. They have a pit window to make their stop. But it's going to be whether people do it at the beginning, in the middle, or the end. It's going to be interesting what strategies are. Almost everyone onto the grid. Look at that. Some of the guys at the rear actually around the corner. That is how many people are racing tonight. Here we go. We're about to go green for our race here. The GT3's at Hungaroring. And we are a go. Thomas Patsy is from the lead. He's got Peter Backers having actually a rather poor start just behind. We're going to go further down the order at the rear. There's a whole gaggle of cars, almost 3 wide through most of the rows at the front. They sort of started to get it sorted. Peter Backers up the inside and into the lead past Thomas Patsy, sorry. There's a big crash at the back, a huge crash. Almost 6 cars involved, 7 cars, 8 cars, 9 cars almost, I think. And we've also got a Bentley around. That's Malachi Backus around on the exit of turn number 1. That's not good news for him. Up into turn number 3 though, most of the cars have sorted themselves out. Peter Backus currently leads our race. But Jim Nobbs is currently running side by side. He's got Dave Suit on his inside. This is going to be another place where we're going to see a number of overtakes, but it's going to be very dangerous to do so in the rear. It looks like we have now got all sorted. It looks like the cars involved in that opening lap incident were Cameron Ford, Mario Brunkovic, Martin Fiala, Jose Paul Miranda, Jim Brailsford, Michael Watt, Paul Schaefer, John Suter, Kamil Gudzinski and Malachi Backus. As we're going almost 3 wide into the chicane. Now that is not a way to do it. You see people having to completely lift off and cut the corner there. You cannot go 3 wide into that chicane. That was a really adventurous move by a number of the cars there. Jazz Forsberg all over the rear of Greg Metcalf. That's for Pete number 7 in this race. It's really close between most of the field at the moment. I just don't know who to watch. Malachi Backus starting to make his way up the field at the rear. He's just got past Kamil Gudzinski there. Looking through, we've also got Laurie McLaurin looking for the inside of Nate Idians. Can't do it at the moment. Also got Mark Keeble running around now, number 33. He's behind Jim Nobbs looking for a top 10 position. Ooh, excuse me there. We've got about 4 cars chasing right down all within a second. As we're looking through, we have all 35 cars. Only 35 cars making it around here. So we've had a retirement on the opening lap of tonight's race, which is a real shame. Looking further down though, that is a really nice looking car in front of him. I don't know what type of car that is, but that is actually fantastic. We're going to get the current standings up to your left hand side there then. That is your current order of tonight's race. It's heading through side by side behind. That's Martin Fiala looking for a way through. Also just behind that we got Jim Brailsford being overtaken by Michael Watt. Watt having to actually leave it on the exit. Back up front, and there is a position being almost overtaken for Pete number 10. And oh no, because Keeble is now under attack by Simon Fillingham, who was looking to get past Jim Nobbs just a few corners ago, and now, oh, but Nobbs up ahead front is slightly wide, so there's about 5 cars looking for this P10 position in tonight's race. Will they be able to do it? There's the number 33, heads through the chicane. He's been able to close up to Nobbs rather well, as Jim ran off just a little bit onto the chicane, not running. Looks like he's got major understeer through most of his corners. You can see it's not running perfectly well for him, and Mark Keeble is all over his ear looking to get through. Now it's into the 3rd to last corner that we were going to see some sort of overtake for sure as he goes for the inside. Here he goes, too far back unfortunately for him, and he's going to have to see a bit of contact actually from Simon Fillingham behind. Tobias Rona trying to get involved as well. He's sitting in P number 13. Just behind that we got Pietro Blasicek looking to get into P number 13. He currently sits in 14th in that Mercedes, chasing down Rona in the Corvette. He's going to look for the outside line, can't quite do it. Has to sit in behind going through the final corner. Who's going to get the better exit out of this final corner and heading down into turn number 1? Peter Backus is in your lead of your race at the moment. He's got 2 seconds over Reggie Blaine. Steve Kenwood actually is in 3rd position as Thomas Patsy loses out from his pole and is down to 4th. He might be running slightly heavier fuel though, and maybe going longer into this race than the rest of the cars, or maybe not even filling up on fuel in that stop and only taking tyres. I'm not too sure what is required in that mandatory pit stop tonight. Mark Keeble right behind Jim Nobbs still for P number 10. There's a little bit of a gap now, so the pressure's off of Keeble as Fillingham drops behind. Fillingham still got Rona, Biasisak and Sloot. Also, Idian Schmerz right behind as well. So there's a load of cars in this midfield all chasing down here. We're currently looking at Mark Keeble as he tries to get past Jim Nobbs. As it looks like Malachi Backus is around again and is collected by Martin Fayela, who somehow keeps it going straight. But Malachi not doing the best race tonight, and he's sitting in 34th position, unfortunately for him. Tony Versity looking for a P number 5, and Steve Kenwood's actually lost it out to Thomas Patsy once more for P number 3. Tobias Rona is going to lose positions. He's made a mistake trying to get past Simon Fillingham. Piotr Blasicek is through up into P number 13 now. Tobias Rona has got Dave Sloot all over the rear in the Bentley. You've also got Idians and Schmerz right behind that. So a number of cars. You can see this midfield battle still going on really heavily. 6 minutes into this race, these cars are just not separating. Luckily for Keeble, he's pulled it away. But Jim Nobbs has had some sort of mistake actually. Keeble has got into the top 10, but Nobbs has lost it behind Fillingham now. He's down to P number 12. That's not what he wants at all. He's starting to lose it behind Fillingham from that as well. So this is not good news as we're 6 minutes into this race. As we head down into turn number 1, there's a little bit of a late braking by the Mercedes, and he looks like he was going to have to pull out there. That's Blasicek trying to make him. There's a car around. There's a car around Dave. I'm trying to click on him. It's Dave Sloot. Dave Sloot had a little bit of contact, I believe, on the exit of that corner, and he has gone around. He's back straight, and oh my, that is a lot of positions lost. He was battling for top 10 almost, and unfortunately for him, he's down about P20. We've also got Blasicek around on the exit of turn number 3. I was trying to say 2 and 3 and 1 there. It was turn number 3. Oh, that's unfortunate. He's going to have to let everyone through as well as they continue to come around the corner. Look at that. Unfortunately for Blasicek, he was in P13. He is down to P number 29. That just shows one little mistake tonight is going to cost you a lot of positions, as it's not letting me change who we're watching at the moment, guys. And all my overlay is not updating. Sometimes this happens. I'm just going to refresh it. We do have an issue with our overlay once more. Sometimes it does fix itself, but I'm going to try and figure out what's going on. And whilst we do this, I'm going to read the chat. 1 minute. Ooh. So between 20 minutes and 40 minutes. Thank you very much. As we get our overlay back once more, as we're looking at Tobias Rona. And Kenny Patton has let us know that you only need to take tyres tonight. So most of these drivers are probably running full fuel, hoping to get to the end in only a tyre stop. Well, that definitely looks like what's going on with Thomas Patsy. He seems to be slower than the other cars. So the other cars might think, okay, I can fill up a little bit of fuel whilst my tyres are being changed. But Patsy looks like he just wants to go all out on one fuel stint. Looking through there, whilst the overlay was trying to update, it looks like most of the battles have actually sort of evened out a little bit through that midfield, as we're looking at Paul Harlow currently in 9th position, trying to chase down Jazz Forsberg. Jazz is a really consistent driver, but so is Paul Harlow, and they're both really fast as well. Jazz running in the Audi and Harlow running in that roof. It looks like this is one of the higher position battles within a second. You've also got Versity about 8 tenths behind Magnus Sternberg, but I don't think we're going to see an overtake from that very shortly at all. We've got Reggie Blaine Sr. already a lap down, so that means a number of cars, by the look of it, are a lap down. Oh no, they're not. It's just... No, that was Greg McCall, sorry. Greg McCall is only just in front by about 3 seconds out of Jazz Forsberg. I was thinking, well, the hell of back markers already come into play tonight. They haven't. That is the answer. John Suter actually running behind Kamil Gwiazdowski here. So Suter has had some sort of mistake, unfortunately for him. as I continue to look through your order. And we're going to go have a look at Mark Keeble as he's once more still looking to gain a position past 1 minute. This is a position past Paul Hurlow. So Mark Keeble's actually been able to catch up to Hurlow, who's made some sort of mistake and dropped off of Jazz Forsberg just that little bit. I'm not too sure what happened there. Versity has actually closed right up to Magnus Sternbury coming up to turn number 1. Greg Metcalf is right behind, looking to take advantage of this as well. About 2 seconds up the road, you've got Steve Kenwood, so that might come into play as well. The pit stops are going to make this interesting though. Like I mentioned earlier, some drivers have lost out before in the past by about 20 to 30 seconds in a stop. As we got a spin! We have a spin! Was that Greg Metcalf? Yes! Greg Metcalf has just had a half spin and now he's got Jazz Forsberg around his outside. Are going to be side by side. Forsberg up the position. Metcalf now going to be under pressure from Mark Keeble. We're going to go run on board as they head up to turn number 5. It's going to run side by side with McLaren, trying to go defensive as possible, and he does. And he cuts off Mark Keeble. Absolutely wonderful as we continue running along board. Keeble here is behind the roof of behind the McLaren. He's in the roof behind the McLaren of Metcalf and the Audi of Jazz Forsberg. They're running through the chicane now. We're just over 10 minutes into this race. Keeble's going to go up the inside. Can't really do it in this middle sector. It's really hard to make a move there, but he tried it anyway. Unfortunately, no move being made as he's about a quarter of a second behind McCall there. As actually Jazz Forsberg has been able to pull out about a second between these two cars. Mark Keeble though, this is where his overtaking location is. His first one from whilst he's been behind. Greg McCalfy's going to stick it behind though. Maybe thinking in the long term. We've got a really long main straight heading up to the hairpin. As that looked like a little bit of a mistake from McCalf there. But behind, Simon Fillingham into a top 10 position as Paul Hurlow has gone off. When did Paul Hurlow go off? I do not know, but that's actually left him vulnerable from Jim Nobbs, who's only about a second behind. About half a second behind that is Tobias Rowland. So there's two cars now chasing down Paul Hurlow. We're going to keep on watching Mark Keeble here for a moment. He's heading into turn number 1. It looks like he's going to hold put in his position. As just behind you saw Jim Nobbs look out of his line a little bit to maybe have a little bit of a peek on Paul Hurlow. Maybe just let Hurlow know he's there in the mirrors. Francesco Rocca though, right over the rear of Ross Garland. This is P number 18. He's going to move up the inside. It's McLaren versus Ruff. Who's going to get the better line? At the moment it's Rocca. On the exit though, Garland just doesn't get the speed, and the McLaren is up into P number 18, which is good news for him. Mark Keeble still all over the rear of Metcalf here. Simon Fillingham still trying to keep in touch with this battle. He's dropped about a second off of the pace. Just up in front, you've still got Jazz Forsberg, so they have not dropped off at all from Forsberg. He's trying to run as consistent as possible. You've got Lauren McLaughlin right behind Alex Schmertz in this middle sector now, heading up to the chicane. Not going to be able to make an overtake move there. He's going to have to stick it behind at the moment in his BMW. He's got a fellow BMW driver just behind, but he's got that roof just in front of him of Alex Schmertz. Mark Keeble is still chasing down Greg McCalf, looking for a way through. As we head through under braking, I want to wish everyone a hello and good evening. For those just joining us tonight, it's a very large grid, and for that we have a large number of people watching, which is very nice to see you all here as we head through the final corner. Mark Keeble still trying to chase down Greg Metcalf. So we're almost 15 minutes into this race. We've only had one retirement so far, which is absolutely fantastic. That was the opening lap of the race. As going for the inside goes McCalf, looking for a way past Forsberg, but on the outside comes Keeble. He's going to try and switch back. There's a little bit of contact. Can't quite do it. He's going to have to sit it in behind through turn number 2. Heading up to turn number 3 now, but Fillingham is all over the rear looking to get through as well. He's going to be good. There's contact though! Mark Keeble's hit the back of McCalf. They're both off. They're both off at turn number 3. Keeble's just sitting there. He's stopped. Keeble has stopped the car. McCalf is moving once more. He's only dropped it to P13. But here you go. Moving back once more. Keeble is back moving. Greg McCalf though, already through turn number 5. Sitting in P number 13. That promotes Jim Nobbs back into a P10. but he's still got Tobias Rona all over his rear and Nate Idian's there as well. Reggie Blaine has been able to close the gap for the lead. It's about a second and a half between them. Drops down to a second through the corners as well, closer than that even sometimes. Thomas Patsy is about 7 seconds off of that though, so it doesn't look like there's too many battles going on in your top 7 at the moment. But I am going to keep an eye on the gap between Blaine and Backus. If that gets much closer, we're going to go have a watch of that. Malachi Backus making his way up the order through the chicane, goes up the inside of Cameron Ford. Absolutely wonderful move. We only got the back end of that, but Ford's off, wobbles the Bentley on the exit, but Malachi Backus making a recovery from the early incident on the opening lap and a few laps into this race. And he's up to 23rd now, which is actually a fantastic recovery drive at the moment for him. See if he can make any more moves up the order as we continue to look through. Nate Idian's currently in 11th, looking to get into P number 10 because Tobias Rona has had some sort of mistake and is down the order and is into P number 13. Unfortunately him, actually that allows Greg McAuliffe back up the order. So Greg starting his recovery after the contact that he had earlier on in this race, only a lap ago in fact, with Mark Keeble. Keeble actually in P19 at the moment, looking to make a move past a fellow manufacturer driver of Ross Garland, going through into turn number 1. Sits behind at the moment. The two roofs heading up through turn number 2, up to turn number 3. As you can see on the left hand side, the pit stop stages are here. So I'm not going to be able to tell you whether the bottom 10 have made their stops, but I can tell you whether the top 26 have made your stops. At the moment, no one has. The pit window is only just open for these drivers, and now we're going to see the varying strategies. Who's going to pit now, or are people going to wait until the final few minutes of the pit window, or are they going to pit in the midway point? And looking up, Reggie Blaine. Ew! There's a little bit of a tap with Peter Backus. Backus has had some sort of mistake coming through the final corner for the lead of your race. There's a little bit of contact. There's about 2 tenths between them as they head along at the main straight. We're going to go right on board Reggie Blaine as he heads down. He's going to move to the right-hand side. He's going to stop. He's going to stick it behind for now. He's not going to make that move in the BMW. Chasing down a fellow BMW, in fact. They're actually in 2 different versions of the BMW. It's nice to see that 2 fellow manufacturers running together, even though they're in different cars. At the moment, that lead gap only about half a second. Paul Hurlow back into the top 9 is up the inside of Jazz Forsberg. Looks like the move Kondo has a little bit of a wobble. Just behind Jim Nobbs, might be trying to get involved in his DeWalt Corvette. He's got Nate Idian's looking for a top 10 as well, just behind in his Audi. So there's a huge battle going on still in that midfield section as Tobias Rona is into your pits. So Tobias Rona is your first stop. He's the one who's made the jump, and there he goes out of the pit lane as that photographer takes a lovely photo as he exits. Nate Idian's though, right behind Jim Nobbs, heading up into sector number 2. He's going to have to stick it behind for now, no matter if there's an opening or not, because this chicane, somehow we saw Malachi Backus make a move, but I don't think we're going to see anything other than that. Tobias Rona comes out of his stop in 23rd position. He's currently behind Malachi Backus, actually, in fact, on track. Backus yet to make a stop, though. Looking at your leading 2, it's about half a second. Are either of them going to make the jump now and decide to take a pit stop? I'm not too sure. Jim Nobbs still trying to hold on to his top 10. Maybe even get past Paul Hurlow just in front. There's about almost a second between them. Tony Versity still on the rear of Magnus Sternbury. The Audi versus BMW. A little bit of a wobble by Sternbury on the exit of the penultimate corner as they head up to that final corner. Tony Versity is coming through. And they're going to be running. I'm going to quickly have a little bit of a drink, so we're going to ride on board. We are currently on board with Versity. Tony Versity has tried up the inside. I think they're running side by side on the exit. They are. Versity's going to have the outside line into turn number 3. Which I had mentioned, turn number 4, it could be a better, but no, he's going to go for the switchback. Is he going to be able to make it? He's going to look for that move. Can't quite at the moment. Versity is going to have to hold on behind Sternbury. And thank you, your father, for following, and welcome to racedepartment.com as they head through now into turn number 5. That number 11 Audi chasing down the BMW. That is for P number 5 in this race at the moment. So you see on the left-hand side, only Tobias Rona in the top 26 have made a stop. I don't think anyone else has yet. I haven't seen any cars go dim on my live timing, which means they haven't yet gone into the pit lane. Paul Hurlow chasing down Jazz Forsberg because Jim Nobbs has lost it out to Nate Idions. That must have been some sort of mistake for Nobbs. Or Idions has just been able to catch him, make him through, and it sort of put Jim off, and he's down now out of the top 10. He could easily get back in though. Pit stops are, the pit stop window is open, so he can easily maybe go for an undercut. But I'm not too sure whether that will work. It could on tyres in the short run, but in the long run, you're going to want those tyres to last to the end. Obviously, these cars can run a full hour on their fuel. They can also run a full hour on their tyres, but the mandatory pit stop means they have to come in and change tyres. That's been confirmed by our lovely Kenny Patton. He has confirmed that it is only tyres that we need to change. Tonight, no fuel, so a number of drivers probably running full fuel. One of those drivers that I believe is running full fuel, Thomas Patsy, seems a lot slower than he was in qualifying. And talking about him, he has stopped on track. Oh no, it seems like there was some sort of lag for Patsy, and it's put him into 4th. Huge issues for Thomas Patsy. It must have been a screen freeze or some sort of lag, but he's now down to P number 4 as Steve Kenwood is up to P3 just in front, and now a battle for a podium has just been sparked. Looking through the rest of your order, this is one of the closest battles. We've obviously still got that battle for P number 8 though between Jazz Forsberg, Paul Hurlow, Nate Idions. Jim Nobbs actually losing about 3 seconds behind that battle now. We've had a second retirement in tonight's race, and looking through, it's Malachi Bacchus. I cannot see Malachi's name on my... No, I can't. Sorry, it's not Malachi. We can breathe a sigh of relief. Malachi is still racing. He's currently in P number 20, looking to get around the outside of Jose Paul Miranda, actually. This is for P number 19. He's going to try around the outside of McLaren. There's a little bit of contact as he tries to tuck it in. Where is he going to make the move? Through into turn number 4. He's going to hold it around the outside of the McLaren and makes the move in his Bentley. Much superior line there, and it's helped him out a lot as we see another driver in the pits. That is Lolo Stacco. He is into the pit lane, and he's now, I believe, our second stopper of tonight's race. 2 retirements down in this race in 22 minutes in. We've still got 40 minutes to run, and Reggie Blaine actually just behind Stacco, who's just come out of the pit lane. And Blaine is actually chasing down Peter Bacchus to your race lead. And thank you, Jodahur, for following, and welcome to racedepartment.com. Nate Idions chasing down Paul Hurlow. Idions has been able to make a number of spots up in this race. A Canadian driver doing well to sit in P number 10. A few positions are ahead of a fellow Canadian of Dave Stute, who sits in 13th. But here goes Idions up the inside of Paul Hurlow. Can't quite do it. Hurlow's still over the rear of Jazz Forsberg. There's definitely a 3-way tie for P number 8 at the moment, and they're going to be battling it out all the way until the pit stops, I believe, and then the pit stops might start to even things out and separate them, as we see Cameron Ford is into the pit lane as well now. No, he's out. Cameron Ford is out of tonight's race. That is a real shame to see. Nate Idions is through because Jazz Forsberg has made a huge mistake. So Nate Idions is behind Paul Hurlow. Jazz Forsberg comes on track in P number 13. That is a huge issue for him, and he's going to have to try and recover that and maybe gain some time back in that pit stop stages. We're going to run on board Idions though at the moment, who's sitting behind Paul Hurlow. Running through the chicane. Hurlow actually getting a lot of apex, and here comes Idions. He's going to move for the inside and can't really make that line stick, but it's scared Hurlow off of the racing line, and Idions got a much faster run through there now, and he's going to be chasing down. You've got Jim Nobbs about 2.5 seconds behind that though, and Greg Metcalf trying to recover from the earlier incident that he had with Mark Keeble. Mark Keeble making his way up into P number 16 now in tonight's race, so he's recovering well. One of the major recovery drivers though, Malachi Bacchus, he spun it somehow at turn number 1. It wasn't during that 9-car incident, but it was actually after that when he exited turn number 1. And he lost it down to the rear of the field. He then spun a few laps later as well through turn number 3. But he's been able to recover it now. We're another car down, so we're now only 32 cars in this race. We've had 4 retirements, which is a real shame at this stage in the race, but actually only 4 with almost half an hour's worth of racing is absolutely fantastic, bearing in mind that we do have 32 cars on tonight's grid. It's amazing racing by a number of these, really close, really competitive. A few mistakes definitely in the early stage of the race, but we see... 1 minute, what? I was going to say that was not right. Stacko was being displayed as in 18th position. I was thinking there's no way he's in 18th, and he is not. Thomas Patsy still chasing down Steve Kenwood after some sort of screen freeze or internet connection issue, as we have. That is a Audi backwards at chicane. That is Lolo Stacko. So Stacko, we were just viewing him a moment ago. He is off at the chicane, spun it around, spun it back around though, facing the right way, and is once again going. 25 minutes gone in this race. In your top 26, the only driver to currently have pitted is Tobias Rona. He would be in a net P11 at this point in the race, I believe. Thank you, Cheese at W3C, for following, and welcome to racedepartment.com. To look through, it looks like Nate Idians is one of the closest battles with Paul Hurler at the moment. This is P number 8. It's the McLaren versus the Ruff, and these drivers still yet to make a pit stop, of course. That mandatory stop is going to play a massive effect with some of these battles. It's going to close some of them up. It's going to make some of them further apart, and it'll probably change who you're battling with after that stop, as Idians goes right onto the rear of Paul Hurler. A big slide out of the final turn, though he corrects it. And he holds the oversteer that the car gave him, and he's now dropped it to about 7/10 behind, but he's going to be holding it as hard as he can going up into the hairpin. He's chasing down Paul Hurlo still for P number 8, but he's now dropped it off the back of him just that little bit. Thomas Patsy has been able to pull back up to Steve Kenwood now, and they're about half a second between each other. But Greg McAuliffe looking for the inside of Jim Nobbs into turn number 3. Almost going straight on at that left hand. I don't know what he was doing there, but he gets back on. He's currently in P number 11. He's got Dave Sloop about 1 second behind. McAuliffe looking to catch up to and pass Jim Nobbs just in front. That'd be for a top 10 position. You've got to remember, Jim Nobbs, one of our few drivers tonight that are in their first ever race room events with us, or at least first that I have ever streamed. Jim, definitely, it's his first race room event, and I believe he's been practicing quite a lot of today, trying to get used to the car and the track, bearing in mind he's only had the game for a little while. Greg McAuliffe, though, still chasing down on Jim Nobbs. Dave Sloop about half a second behind, trying to get involved. Martin Fayela has just lost a position because he has just come out of the pit lane, and that's Nicholas Gregory through. I don't know what car Nicholas is in, but he is the only driver in it, I believe. Does anyone know what that is? Because I would love to know. It looks like he's the only driver in that car. He is. So if you guys know what car Nicholas Gregory is driving in, our American driver, certainly in P number 28, it would be an amazing lot of help if you did know. Interesting though, interesting. Up near the front of your field, you've got Dave Sloop still chasing down on Metcalf, still chasing down on Nibs. We've got an almost overtake here because Idians is up the inside line of Paul Harlow. He's going to be going there, under braking. Who's going to get better line? It looks like a switchback attempt almost by Paul Harlow. No, he can't quite make it. And he gets into Slipstream, but for now, Nate Idians is up the position. Steve Kenwood into the pit lane. Steve Kenwood is into your pits. He was in 3rd position. No, he's not. Steve Kenwood has had a mistake. Steve Kenwood from 3rd has spun. I thought he was in the pits because his name dimmed. But no, it's because he had spun on circuit. Steve Kenwood getting back straight now on in 7th position. That's promoted Patsy back into a 3rd. Sternbury up to 4th. Tony Versity is now battling instead of for a P number 5. He's currently in that position. He's now battling for a P number 4 with Magnus Sternbury. Into 7th goes Steve Kenwood. Simon Fillingham moves up into P number 6 for now then. At the moment, only Tobias Rona has pitted out of your top 20 drivers. It's going to be interesting to see when other drivers do pit, whether they're going to do it within the next couple of minutes in the halfway stage. Paul Hurlo, though, is going to... Oh, he was side by side with Nate Idians, but through the exit of the corner, he backs out of it. Colin Herx is into your pit lane. There he is. The Roof making his pit stop near the rear of your field. He's going to be heading out. He's going to be a lap down behind your race leaders now, though. Paul Hurlo still looking to get past Nate Idians, make that recovery move. He might try it into turn number 1, but I don't think he's close enough. I think Nate Idians has made that move, and he's going to stick with that move. They have got an Audi just in front of them. That is a back marker. That's Lolo Stacco just in front. Hopefully he'll stay out of the way of these cars and he won't cause too much of an issue. He moves to the left-hand side, and he definitely... Blue flag's being waved, though. He's staying out the way. Holding up to turn number 3, though. He's going to back out, hopefully. Yeah. Oh, that was close, but he does back out. It was almost contact, but he stays out of the way. Very nicely indeed. Respecting the blue flags. Very gentleman driving, which is what you want to see tonight. It is... Okay, I'm hearing a Zonda and a Glickenhaus. That's not helpful, guys. Which one is it? I'll say it definitely does look like a Zonda. It's a P45 Competition. Okay, thank you very much, Abdi. P45 then. So that is the P45. Only one car in that P45, which is interesting to see. In your battles at the moment, someone has gone off. Who has gone off? From Magnus Sternbury. Has he made his stop? Yes, that is why. Magnus Sternbury is the first out of your front runners to make a pit stop. At the halfway stage in that BMW, he's made a stop. Peter Backus into a pit lane. So is Reggie Blaine. So that means Backus is going to come out in your race lead. Actually, quite a large gap by the look of it. Ahead of Reggie Blaine. Thomas Patsy remains out, though, and only a few corners, one corner ahead. So that just shows how far behind Patsy was. Tony Versity trying to get around the outside of Reggie Blaine as Blaine leaves the pit lane there. But these pit stops are going to really start to shake things up at the moment. And Kenny has just confirmed it is a P45. Thank you very, very much. And thank you, obviously, as well. Definitely looks like a Zonda, though. You are right. As we see more drivers in. Nate Idians into the pit lane. Dave Sloot into the pit lane. It says 2 cars actually running side by side on your pit exit. That's Greg McAuliffe and Paul Hurlo. And McAuliffe looked like he actually just squeezed Paul Hurlo into the pit wall on the exit there. It looked like he was actually going slightly faster than Hurlo as well. So maybe some pit speeding going on for McAuliffe, which led to a penalty. But I don't think that was a very nice thing to do, to squeeze Hurlo into the wall. Laurie McLaughlin, though, is chasing down Magnus Sternbury for P number 8. McLaughlin's yet to pit. Sternbury has already obviously made that stop as he tries to go up the inside of Jazz Forsberg through the chicane. There's a little bit of contact. Forsberg holds it. Sternbury's going to have to sit behind for now, but he's going to be really annoyed that he's getting held up by this traffic. But that is definitely not a place to overtake. Martin Fiala into the pits as well from P number 28. Magnus Sternbury is going to look for the inside of Jazz. Here he goes into the final sector. They're going to run side by side. Jazz is going to run the car off the circuit. It's very easy to get squeezed out there and just miss your braking point, and that's exactly what happened there. Laurent Malloy just behind is going to be looking to get past Jazz Forsberg as well. These two drivers, Jazz and Laurie, they are 2 drivers legitimately battling for position at the moment. P number 8 currently, but I don't know what position that will be in a net run. I think it'll probably be maybe 11th or 12th once everyone has made their stop. Lauren is into the pit lane, so is Jazz just up in front, so it's really seeing cars into the pits at the moment. Mark Keeble yet to make a stop but remains out on track. And it is based on the Ferrari 430 GT2. Thank you very much for this information, Kenny, that you are handing me. We see a number of cars into the pits. Looking at the left-hand side, drivers to still make a pit stop. Patsy up in front, Versity in 4th, Keeble in 6th, still on this recovery drive in this rough that we're currently looking at. We got I was about to say Nobkins. I got Nobby in P13 here, but it looks like he's actually made some sort of mistake. He's dropping down the order as he into the pits. I'm not too sure. Jim Nobbs, it looks like he's been having some sort of mistake in the Corvette. He's running extremely slowly. I don't know what's going on for Jim Nobbs, but he seems to have lost all pace in his Corvette at the moment. He looks like he's getting back going again, but he's down a number of positions. Malachi Backus yet to make a stop, but up in P number 13. Bearing in mind, he was 36th at one point in this race after the incident on lap 1 and then the spin a few laps later. Simon Fillingham looking to get past Mark Keeble though. These two drivers, well actually no, Keeble has not stopped, but Fillingham has. So he'll be annoyed if he gets held up a little bit by traffic with Mark Keeble. He can't make the move up the inside. He's going to have to remain behind at the moment. When will we see Keeble in? Because the pit stop window is surely going to close shortly. Coming through now. I believe the pit window will actually close in 10 minutes time, so we'll still see a number of different strategies being played. Fillingham being held up by Keeble at the moment though. This is for P number 6. It looks like it'll be a net P6 as well, because once Patsy has pitted, he will probably come out in P number 3. So Fillingham currently in a net P6, but looking to make that move. They've got an Audi coming out of the pit lane. They're having a run on some weird lines, and it looks like Fillingham backing out of the move there. That was the Audi of, I'm trying to figure out via liveries. That is Tony Versity. That is P number 5. So Versity comes out. This is a battling car now. So Fillingham will be trying his hardest to get past Keeble, because Fillingham still needs to battle with Versity. That will be a battle for P number 5. But at the moment, with Mark Keeble, who's yet to stop splitting them, it's going to be interesting. Patsy has lost it to second, and he's yet still to make a stop. Peter Backus has already made his pit stop. You can see that car just in front of Patsy is Backus. Will we see Patsy in now? Yes. After being overtaken for the lead of the race, Thomas Patsy is into the pits for his scheduled stop. It might be a little bit earlier than he was probably hoping, but the fact that he's lost the position has probably made him realise that his strategy not working the best. Reggie Blaine moves up into P number 2. Then Magnus Sternbury is still running through the final sector. I don't think he'll be able to get past Thomas Patsy, who is rolling into his pit box now. Mark Keeble is running side by side with Simon Fillingham. So Fillingham is trying to make the move past in his McLaren. Can't quite do it around the outside, but he's been able to hold the line. This is absolutely fantastic in that McLaren. Fillingham is going to get the inside once again. Coming through the final corner, there's a little bit of contact, but they get both onto the straight now. Who's going to be ahead? They come across the line. It's Mark Keeble ahead by 0.07 of a second. Coming down now, Fillingham into the slipstream. He's surely going to make a move up the inside, because Versity is getting away. He's about 3 seconds up the road now. Fillingham made the move, but here comes the switchback, possibly by Mark Keeble. No, he's going to have to stick it behind for now, and maybe he's going to go. He's going to go on the exit turn 2. It's turn number 3 now. There's a left-hander. He's going to try on the outside, but you can see Fillingham moving to the middle of the circuit, trying his hardest to fend off from Keeble through that corner. He doesn't really want to be battling with Keeble, who's yet to make that stop. But he is, unfortunately, having to. He's been able to hold off really nicely, though. Jim Nobbs is running down in P number 16. He has now made his scheduled stop. He's lost a few positions out, unfortunately for him, though. Peter Backus, Malachi Backus, sorry, not Peter Backus. Peter Backus is your leader. Malachi Backus is in P number 12 at the moment. Before you think they're related, it's not. It's Peter Backus with a U and Malachi Backus with an A. I just say them pretty much the same, because they pretty much are the same. Malachi Backus, though, in P number 12, making a recovery drive at the moment. Yet to make a stop, flashing his headlights towards Paul Hurlow. But there's about 4 seconds between them. No reason that he should be flashing his headlights. Maybe he knows he's on stream and he's just sort of flashing his lights there. Paul Hurlow, though, is the car in front. He is chasing down Dave Sue. About half a second between them. This is now 4th position. Remember, they both made a pit stop. The only driver in your top 10 to yet make a pit stop is Mark Keeble. And will we see him in shortly? He's coming through up to the final corner. He remains out. This is really weird to see. Mark Keeble is literally pushing to the limit on the pit stop strategy. This is absolutely fantastic. Heading down up to turn number 1 now. We're about 40 minutes into this race. We've got 20 minutes to go. And it's still really close for a number of positions. We're looking at Mark Keeble at the moment, who's running around in P number 7. He's got Steve Kenwood behind by about 6/10. Now, just remember though, Keeble yet to make that stop. That means all these drivers catching up to him, they're on fresher tyres. So probably on a little bit heavier fuel, but they are on fresher tyres than Keeble is. And they're going to want to get past, because Keeble's going to end up behind them when they come up to the pit, when he comes up to pits anyway. So they're going to want to be behind him for as little time as possible and lose as little time as possible. I love Steve Kenwood's livery though. Those Mao-Am Corvette, absolutely fantastic. And the green man running on the side just shows exactly what Steve is doing inside that car, running as fast as he possibly can. Currently in P number 8. Obviously he had that mistake when he was in P number 3 ahead of Thomas Patsy. Looking through, Pietro Blasicek into the pits, but he's overshot his box, it looks like. He's having to roll it back. It looks like he's now got to his stop, but that is unfortunate for Blasicek. He just overshot it. And that is a real shame for him. Lauren McLaurin running in that BMW, chasing down the Audi of Jazz Forsberg. It's about 3/10 between them. We may see an overtake. 20 minutes to go though. Steve Kenwood, here he goes, up the inside of Mark Keeble, through the penultimate corner. Keeble's going to be holding his line. Is he in? Mark Keeble is in. 20 minutes to go. Mark Keeble dives into the pit lane and is one of our final stoppers. The final stopper of tonight's race is going to be Malachi Backus. He's the only driver now yet to pit, because Peter Backus is in... we're getting confused. Mark Keeble is into the pits. Malachi Backus, he's trying his hardest to push this car as far as it possibly will go, possibly to the very end of that formation, of the required pit stop. Out comes Mark Keeble just behind though, in that rough. He comes out about 5 seconds ahead of Jazz Forsberg in the Audi. So he seems to have held on to P number 12. It'll be P number 11 once Malachi stops. Looking up forward, so Paul Hurlow back into some battles up front. He's trying to get past Dave Sloop, the Canadian driver for P number 9. But we've got Alex Schmertz side by side almost with Ross Garland coming along the main straight here. The two roughs heading up to turn number 1. Who's going to have the bigger balls? Who's going to break later? It's definitely Ross Garland. But he's gone wide trying to break later. It's allowed Alex Schmertz to look up the inside, but on the exit just cannot do it. Schmertz is going to drop off a little bit behind now. There's about 3/10 between them, as they head through turn number 3. They're going to run side by side. Schmertz is still behind at the moment. Here he goes. He's going to move to the right hand side. Can't do anything. Move to the left. Just let Garland know that he is there. As we're on board, Schmertz, as you can see here, is chasing down Ross Garland, about 1 or 2 tenths between them as they head up to the chicane. There's just nowhere to overtake during this middle sector unless Ross Garland makes some sort of mistake. So Schmertz is going to be hounding on him, looking for a way through. Here he goes, that he's going to go for the inside. Can't do anything at the moment as they head through into the final sector. About 17 minutes to go in this race. Paul Hurlow right over the rear of Dave Sloop. Dave Sloop right over the rear of Greg McCall. As we see Malachi Backus into the pit lane, we also see Lolo Stacco off as another car goes around. There's a few incidents now happening, and that was Dave Sloot and Greg McCall. Dave Sloot and Greg McCall have gone off at turn number 3. Sloot has allowed McCall through, but they have got that yellow flag for the Audi of... Oh no, Stacco is out, but he was sitting there for quite a while. Dave Sloot now behind McCall, but that has allowed Paul Hurlow to get into P number 8. It's also allowed Jazz Forsberg to close up. He's only about 1.5 seconds behind now. Lauren McLaurin also looking to get involved in this battle in P number 12. Malachi Backus sitting in P number 13, which is crazy bearing in mind where he was at the start of this race. During this race, though, 45 minutes have gone. Only 6 cars have retired. We've still got 30 vehicles running around. These GT3's absolutely doing fantastic stuff tonight. They're all really well driven. A few mistakes here and there, but actually relatively clean by most of the drivers tonight. It's absolutely fantastic driving. Just looking through, it looks like we're almost at the end of the pit window, but we've got to remember every single driver has already made their pit stops. Therefore, positions that they're in are their positions. McLaren looking to get past Jazz Forsberg though for P number 11. Coming up to the penultimate turn, he's right behind. Can't do anything at the moment. Heading up to the final turn, he's going to be trying his hardest to get the slipstream. Heading into the hairpin at the end of the straight. He's going to be behind Forsberg as they head along. The Audi is going to be leading the BMW. The car behind the Mercedes, he is a lap down. I believe that is Steve Legale in the Black Falcon car. I'm not too sure though. As they head through into turn number 1, that's up the inside. Tries McLaren, can't quite do it. Forsberg just squeezes him out, and the overtake just isn't able to happen, unfortunately, for McLaren. Luckily for Jazz Forsberg, trying to defend on that P number 11 slot at the moment. Nate Idian's up the position though as Reggie Blaine Sr. loses it out in that McLaren car. The two McLaren's battling away. That was for P number 20. Nate Idian up into a top 20 position at the moment. Colin Hurks losing some time to Paul Schaefer there, so it looks like some sort of mistake by Hurks. It's allowed Schaefer through. McLaren, we're going to go have a look at this battle once more. Jazz Forsberg then up to this middle sector then. As I've mentioned so many times, no real overtaking opportunities, but look, Lawrence looks for it. He tries up the inside of the chicane, backs out of it at the very last moment. He knew that there was no way you could go side by side there. Now he's got to hope for some sort of mistake by Forsberg just up ahead, because that's the only way he's going to get through in this sector. He's actually lost out a little bit now, and he's about almost a second behind Jazz Forsberg. So that look up the inside of the chicane has definitely made him lose some time. Up front though, just in front of this battle, about 3 seconds up the road in fact, Dave Sloop is about half a second behind Greg Metcalf, and that is for P number 9. You've got the McLaren leading the BMW. So they do the penultimate corner. Sloop looking to get up the position. Bart Metcalf here into the final turn. The McLaren is going a much tighter line than by the BMW. And thank you, 9 Red, for following, and welcome to racedepartment.com. As they go past a back marker of the BMW there, allowing them through, staying completely out of the way. Dave Sloop having to hold on to his position at the moment. Rocker all over the wheel of Jose Paul Miranda. Two McLarens heading up once more. This is a battle for P number 18 in tonight's races. Brunkovic actually closing down to Reggie Blaine Sr. Through into the final sector here, trying to keep track of the closest battles and bring them to you. As Ruff is behind the McLaren by about a second now. It's definitely the gap has definitely opened up. Rocker's still going to be trying to get up the inside of Miranda into turn number 1. Maybe attempt to move. It looks like McLaren not able to do anything during turn number 1 at the moment. The gap remains about half a second between the two. But here you go. Rocker tries for the outside as Miranda goes defensive. Is there going to be a switchback? Yes, there is. Rocker goes for the inside through turn number 2. Become the outside of the long left hand of turn number 3. But will he have the position confirmed already? Past Jose Paul Miranda is going to have to leave the other McLaren some room. They're running side by side into turn number 3, respecting each other a heck of a lot as they turn into turn number 4, and it looks like Rocker is at the position. No, he's not, because Miranda's able to hold the outside line. They'll be side by side for 4 turns now, and it looks like Miranda's going to be able to hold the position. Only just fantastic stuff. Also McLaren over the rear of Jazz Forsberg now, heading up to the final couple of corners, so this is going to be an overtake for sure. Here he goes up the inside. No, he's going to have to sit behind for now as we go. Actually, we're going to go on board quickly and see just how close he is from an onboard perspective. And look at that, right on the rear bumper of that Audi of Jazz Forsberg. This is a battle for P number 11. So just outside of a top 10 at the moment. Ryan trying his hardest to chase down Jazz Forsberg, heading up to turn number 1. Is he going to go for the inside? No, he can't, because Forsberg goes defensive. To the outside goes McLaren. Are we going to see another switchback attempt? Jazz Forsberg denies it. He's going to run as tight as possible. McLaren runs wide anyway, well wider than what you can do to try and get that inside through the exit. So at the moment, McLaren's going to have to hold it behind Jazz Forsberg. Out in the lead at the moment though, Peter Backus leading Reggie Blaine by 6 seconds. A further 25 seconds behind that is Thomas Patsy. and a further 19 seconds behind that is Magnus Sternbury. So the top 4, top 5 even, rather separated from each other at the moment. McLaurin still trying to get past Jazz Forsberg as they head once more into this middle sector, and it's going to be up the inside goes McLaurin. He's going to make himself known to Jazz Forsberg, side by side into the chicane. They actually ran side by side. McLaurin comes off worse, but how did they do that? 2 by 2 into that chicane, my God. Side by side action through the tightest corners on the circuit. Fantastic stuff. As Rocca still trying to make a move past Jose Paul Miranda at the moment. As we go have a little look at this, that is not Rocca. There is Rocca. As he's still trying behind, but they go into that middle sector, so nothing we can really do there. We're going to go back to them shortly, and hopefully there'll be an overtake, actually, as Steve Legale is going to go around the outside. This is just behind that battle for P number 11. Not in position, but on track. In position, it's a battle for P number 27, as Steve Legale looking to get past Jim Brelson. He's been able to do it on the exit, as, oh, there's someone backwards. Loic McLaurin has spun it. He's binned it into the final corner. Loic McLaurin is going to have to recover from that. He's still in P number 12, but Malachi Bacchus has now had a massive door open for him. 10 minutes to go. He's only a second behind the damaged car of Loic McLaurin. As the rough tries to hold the inside line and stay out of the way, that's Colin Hurks. He does so rather nicely. Malachi Bacchus currently running here. You can just see the gap about half a second between himself and McLaurin as they head through turn number 3. 10 minutes to go in this race. Absolutely fantastic racing all race long and all night long for me here in these GT3's. Absolutely amazing class. Everyone's so professional. Even those running near the rear of the field, they're having some really cracking battles between them. We go have a look at Rocco. Actually, he's chasing down Jose Paul Miranda still. This is again a battle for P number 18. So they head out of turn number 3 into turn number 4. Into the second sector. It looks like for now Rocca's once again going to have to hold it behind Miranda. Not going to be able to make that move, even though he really wants to for P18. He can't quite do so at the moment. Malachi Bacchus is still chasing down Loic McLaurin as well. Steve Kenwood all over with Tony Versity still. There's about a second between them. He's actually been able to close up quite a lot in that Corvette, and maybe in some sort of mistake for Versity. But actually, looking at the timings, it doesn't look like it. It just looks like Kenwood has been able to catch up a heck of a lot in tonight's race, which was fantastic stuff for him. As he continues on, currently in P number 6. Malachi Bacchus still trying his hardest to move up into P number 12, but we've also got Dave Sloot right behind Greg Metcalf still for P number 9. There's 3 major battles really going on. 4 almost, actually. Not anymore. Francesco Rocca has lost it out to Jose Paul Miranda, and Miranda has been able to catch up to Schmerz. So now Schmerz is under attack from the Portuguese driver of Jose Paul Miranda. And that is now for P number 17, but you can see Rocca 2.5 seconds behind coming out of that final corner there. As these drivers actually, your final drivers on your lead lap. Idians is your first driver off of the lead lap, which is a real shame because he was running in a top 10 earlier on in the race, but not anymore. Here goes Malachi Bacchus all over the rear of Loic McLaurin. This is the middle sector. Will he attempt to move up the inside of the chicane? It looks like he's going to think better of it. No, maybe not. He's going to make himself known in the mirrors of Loic McLaurin. He's got Jim Nobbs actually behind about 7 seconds, but here he goes actually. Bacchus up the inside of McLaurin. On the exit of the chicane, he's going to try it. He's going to slow them both down a lot of time, but Bacchus has got nothing to lose. It's still 10 seconds to Jazz Forsberg up ahead, and here he goes. It looks like he's been able to make the move, and he closes the door heading into the final sector. Absolutely a wonderful stuff. Malachi Bacchus up into P number 12, an amazing recovery after lap number 1. Remember, he was in P number 36, and again he dropped down to P number 36 a few laps later. But here comes actually McLaurin looking for a way back up the inside, and there's a little bit of contact, and Bacchus just not leaving him much room up the inside. McLaurin was definitely there the entire corner, so Bacchus could have been a little bit more fair Following that squeeze though, McLaren's pulled off of the overtaking move and he's had to drop back about half a second now. Steve Kenwood is still looking to get past Tony Versity, but as they head into the middle sector, there's not much he can do at the moment. Jose Paul Miranda, this is a move that's going to make him move up into P number 17, and that's going to be past Alex Schmerz. Francesco Rocca back into a second within these drivers, though, as he's starting to recover in his McLaren from whatever mistake he had as we head into the final 6 minutes of the race. Jose Paul Miranda chasing down Alex Schmerz, so for P number 17. Will we see an overtaking move? I don't know, but Steve Kenwood, he's right on the rear of Tony Versity. This is a battle for P number 5. He's going to move for the inside, heading into the third to last corner. He sits behind. Jose Paul Miranda stays behind Alex Schmerz, in case you were wondering about that battle, for now at least. But here comes Kenwood around the outside of Versity, through the penultimate corner. He has to drop it out for now. Is he going to try a switch back? No, but he closes up. And there goes, moves across Versity into the final corner. There was a little bit of contact. And Kenwood's off the circuit. He's back on, but he's dropped it about a second behind now. Which is a shame. He's not going to be able to get up into P number 5 just yet, but he's got 5 more minutes to recover. This battle for P number 17 between Alex Schmerz, Jose Paul Miranda and Francesco Rocca continues on. And that's the rough leading the 2 McLarens at the moment as they head into the chicane. Steve Kenwood has been able to close up back to half a second between himself and Versity, so I'd definitely keep an eye on the timing sheets there. Martin Fayela also about 6/10 off of Reggie Blaine Sr. Colin Hurks into the rear of your field now behind Jim Brailsford. I'm not too sure how long he has been there, but I know he hasn't been there the entire time. But this is getting really close because Rocca is right behind Miranda now, and it looks like he's going to be able to make a move going into the breaking point. He moves for the inside line, but Miranda moves across to defend. Rocca backs out of it for now. As they head up to the penultimate corner, Rocca heads through and he is chasing down Jose Paul and Miranda just in front. We've also got Alex Schmerz about a second up ahead of Miranda. It's sort of, the gap changes all the time because of the corners and the straights around the circuit as they now head along the main straight. Are we going to see an overtake by Rocca? Are we going to see an overtake by Miranda? Miranda's too far off of Schmerz. Rocca is too far off of Miranda. So they're going to have to stay in line for now for P number 17. Ah no, we've got to spin, Francesco Rocca has gone around trying to chase those drivers in front of him, Alex Schmerz and Jose Paul Miranda. He's lost it to Nate Idians as well. That is a real shame. Rocca is, oh no. Oh my. That is a real shame. But we're going to go have a look because Jose Paul Miranda is still over the rear of Alex Schmerz. Versity has lost it out. Versity has lost out to Stephen Kenwood in that spin that we just saw. There's been a move for the for 5th position in tonight's race. Steve Kenwood up to P5. Tony Versity in his Audi has lost it to the British driver. And the Britishman beats the Spaniard for 5th position at the moment. So we head into the final 3 minutes of tonight's race. Simon Fillingham is also closing up to Tony Versity now as well. So Versity might be down to P number 7 by the end of this race. Jose Paul Miranda still chasing down Alex Schmerz for P number 17 at the moment. We're into the final 2.5 minutes of tonight's race. We're going to see maybe 2 or 3 more laps now for these drivers. Peter Backer's currently leading, and once that timer clicks into the 1 minute, we're going to go and watch him. But for now, we're going to watch these battles that are going on. And Martin Fayela still looking for a move past Reggie Blaine Sr. We saw Martin Fayela spin when landing a prototype through at Silverstone last week. But this week he's keeping it together a little bit more. 23rd position at the moment, holding behind Reggie Blaine at the, coming through onto the main straight. And it looks like he might be able to make a move into turn number 1. He's got the slipstream. The gap is closing down as he follows the slipstream into turn number 1. He's going to move to the outside because goes defensive. Reggie Blaine Sr. But is Vela gonna be able to get a switch back? It looks like he looked for the inside, but just a little bit too far off, unfortunately. Jose Paul Miranda still behind Alex Schmerz as they head into the middle sector. Stephen Kenwood has been able to catch up to Magnus Sternberg. There must have been some sort of mistake for Sternberg. So now this is could be from P number 6 up to P number 4 in just the final few minutes of the race. As Steve Kenwood chasing down Sternberg. Simon Fillingham still attempting to catch up to Tony Versti, but Versti is close back up to Kenwood. So there's almost 4 cars battling for P number 4 in the closing stages of this race. Reggie Blaine Sr. has finally lost it to Martin Fiala. That was extremely close for them, but they have got these leaders coming through. P number 4, 5, 6 and 7 right behind them as they head up to the chicane. At the moment, this is fantastic. We head into the final minute. If the timings get any closer, we're going to go watch it. But Peter Backus, this is going to be the final lap of tonight's race. Absolutely fantastic. GT3's at Hungaroring. If you want to get involved in races like this, please be sure to go over to racedepartment.com, become a premium member today. It's only €10 for the entire year. You can get involved in all these club events, the rookie events, you can get involved in our league events. You can just join in any event that you wish, all for just €10 for the entire year, which is absolutely fantastic. And just behind, we saw Mark Keeble get past Jim Nobbs there behind Peter Backus, but at the moment it's Backus who's going to be going into the win. He's got 6 seconds to Reggie Blaine, so unless he makes a mistake from pressure on this lap, it's going to be a nice easy victory for Peter Backus. As the timer clicks in, that's it. The race is technically over, but the checkered won't be pulled out until Peter Backus crosses the line. He's still got a car in front of him. Is he going to let him through? Is he going to fight to try and get in an additional lap? Nope, the number 99 of Paul Schaefer pulls off the circuit to allow Peter Backus through in the number 55 BMW through the penultimate corner. Absolute fantastic race for Peter Backus. Took the lead in the opening lap of this race. He is going to take the checkered flag, but we're going to go have a little look at this battle for P number 4. They're coming into the middle sector. This is actually fantastic stuff because Magnus Sternberg is having to defend as hard as he can from Stephen Kenwood. We've also got Tony Versti just behind who's trying to defend from Simon Fillingham as well. This is fantastic stuff. Stephen Kenwood all over the rear of Magnus Sternberg. We're trying to pressure Sternberg as much as he can as they come through into the final section here. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to do it. But it's going to be all or nothing, I think, for Stephen Kenwood. He's behind going into the third to last corner. He's not going to be able to do it. Steve Kenwood is going to be finishing in 5th, means that Magnus Sternberg will hold on to 4th. As Mark Keeble is out of this race. Is he already finished? I hope he's already finished. Believe so. It's coming through the final corner. Steve Kenwood pushing to the very limits of the track there, trying to gain some time. No, Magnus Sternberg crosses the line in 4th. Steve Kenwood, Tony Versti and Simon Fillingham following just behind. But we still got Alex Schmerz. Oh no, they've all finished the race. I was going to say, thank God, that almost made me panic there. But what a recovery drive by Malachi Backus here. After that first incident out on the exit turn number 1, he wasn't involved in the huge crash that we saw, but he spun somehow coming out of the corner. He dropped it to the last. A few laps later, he spun it again. He was in 36th position. He's now made it and recovered it to 12th, which is absolutely fantastic stuff. Amazing for the Bentley driver of Malachi Backus. He crosses a line in 12th position. Not probably what he was hoping for, but bearing in mind that he did crash, it's amazing stuff. So Peter Backus won our race there, 9 seconds ahead of Reggie Blaine. Patsy finished in 3rd, followed by Sternberg and Kenwood rounding out your top 5. We then had Versti, Fillingham, Hurlow, Metcalf and Soot rounding out your top 10. Jazz Forsberg finished in 11th, just outside of that top 10, followed by Malachi Backus and McLoyne. And then all your drivers off of the lead lap. Jim Nobbs, Garland, Paulo Miranda, Schmerz, Idians, Rocker, Barunkovic, Fiala, Gregory, Blassatak, Watt, Steve Legale, Herx and Brailsford rounding out your field. 27 cars finished that race, meaning that we had, I believe, 9 retirements from tonight's race, which is not bad in the hour of racing, because that's about 1 every 7 or 8 minutes, which sounds like a lot, but only 1. It's not bad at all. Bearing in mind, we do see many more retirements than that in some of our 20-minute races. So fantastic driving by all of our drivers there. Absolutely wonderful. If you have enjoyed, be sure to follow us on Twitch, because we stream these race room events every Sunday. I'm not here next Sunday, unfortunately, so we're hoping to get some sort of stream, but there'll be no commentary. Following Sunday, I'm back, and we'll be going back live with our amazing commentary on these Race Room Sunday events, because they are my favourite to do. As we have some weird angle shot there of the top of a tree. But anyway, yes. If you want to get involved in these events, please go over to racedepartment.com. Become a premium member for only €10 for the entire year. Get involved in all of our club events, all of our league events, whatever you want to do. Get involved. It's going to be absolutely fantastic if you do, and you might even be featured on stream as well. My throat is absolutely dead from that. I hope you guys have all enjoyed. By the look of it, you have. This is one of the biggest audiences we've had for one of these race room events. So thank you very, very much. I need a drink, and I just need a rest, because that was fantastic stuff, and I just want to drive these GT3's myself now. Thank you very much for joining us here tonight, though. We are back live, obviously, this week, with a number of events all week long, and I hope you will join us for those. Thank you very much, everyone, watching tonight, and goodbye.